The whole piece pulses, and it's really alive. There's something inspiring to begin with about someone being a doctor, making a choice of that. And so when they're young and idealistic and all that, everything that adds to the experience is beautiful. And this is just a great thing.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you so much for coming today. I'm John Daly, and on behalf of the medical school, I wish to welcome you. The official dedication of our unique art installation outside in the Commons, known as the Unseen World. As this Commons was designed, it was clear we needed to fill it with some things. And thus began a saga with an art committee that was formed of multiple individuals. And in the end, it was Ms. Kaman's work that was chosen, and it won our minds and hearts. What medical school wouldn't fall in love with bacteria that are large enough to eat you for lunch?
It's a big day for Joel and I. We've been working quite a few years to get to being creative every day and being able to survive. And it's very rare that you find patrons, such as the patrons I have found in Temple School of Medicine, that allow for that survival.
Today we're going to be delivering some of the world's most infectious sculpture. It's all about viruses and bacteria. Kind of a love opera. There it is in all of its glory. You can see the sculptures inside. About half of them have already been illuminated. We're here at Temple School of Medicine. This is the coolest building in North Philadelphia. If you get a chance to look around, you'll see it's a state-of-the-art medical training facility for the doctors of tomorrow. We have this tremendous suspended sculpture.
The idea for this space was to almost from Broad Street make it look like a giant aquarium that you're looking in, kind of like the whole building is a microscope. The doctors and physicians, what they might get to look at every day, some of them microbiology is a foundations class. It's basically taking what's happening inside the labs and inside the classrooms and making it available for everyone to see and enjoy. I just thought bacteria were great basic shapes and really interesting. They have got cilia and flagella. They're constantly moving, searching out food, oxygen, whatever their life basis is, and multiplying. They're constantly active and fascinating. Our life depends on them.
Bacteria are the oldest living organisms on the earth. They've been here for billions of years. And this bacterium has the special property that it makes light. So it makes bioluminescence, like fireflies make light. So we're not doing anything to the cells here. We just took the picture by turning the lights off in the room, and this is what we see. So when they were in dilute suspension, they made no light. But when they grew to a certain cell number, all the bacteria turned on light simultaneously. So now what we understand is that all bacteria can talk to each other. They make chemical words, they recognize those words, and they turn on group behaviors that are only successful when all of the cells participate in unison.
Kate is an incredible artist, and she leads a team that is basically committed to designing and building monumental sculpture. The team includes people that are fine artists, engineers, specialty tradesmen like cabinet makers and inlay guys. We've had Ironworkers 401, thank you very much, Cobra Electric. We've had carpenters, thanks Ed, and a bunch of other good guys that have helped us rig and build this sculpture.
A project of this scale is just really dependent on that team and core group of people that are making it, that can follow it through to completion. My collaborator, Joel Erland, we worked as partners hand in hand in this project from the design phase and proposal all the way through in the fabrication and installation. I have a sculpture background, Joel has an industrial design background, and together we were able to see the project happen.
One of the things that was so exciting was this whole idea of the unseen world. First of all, I've always liked looking through a microscope at bacteria myself. There's this wonderful quotation that I like from the great dancer choreographer Bill T. Jones, in which he says, art teaches us to think about things we can't see. And this is a perfect example. To have this wonderful work of art that reminds us of this whole immense world, this immensely successful world around us is wonderful.
We've been working for the last 9 months in fabrication. Actually, it was making the master sculptures out of plaster and then making molds over those and then casting in a material called polyvitro. Then we did finishing and now we're installing. It is the longest installation I've ever done. Usually an installation only takes 2 or 3 days at the most. So it's kind of like running a long marathon the next couple weeks, but one that you've been looking forward to for a long time.
That's the Germantown White House, where George Washington himself lived when he lived here in Germantown. Thomas Jefferson's got a place up the street, and this is, called Revolutionary Road. Here's our shop here. It's a furniture factory that for the last 35 years has been a silversmith shop, and it's our little home sweet home.
This stage has just been pulled out of the cast. Kate Kaman has poured all the material out of crystal clear, which is a part A and B chemical, and it turns into a much harder, almost plastic-like material.
We would make the master, then we'd build the mold around the master, take the molds apart, remove the master, and then inside of those molds, we had to build another mold.
What we have here is a Vibrio. This is one of the last ones in our grid. The one we've just finished today is Strep, and it is a 4-part, I think there's like 6 spheres in this one. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, we've kind of taken this space and custom made it for this specific project. It has been one of the larger projects we've taken on here, and we've learned a lot of things from it, and it's been really exciting because we've had to figure out how to do things none of us have really done before, which always makes it a challenging and enjoyable experience. Each sculpture is cut down the center vertically, and in order to hang them, the 2 halves of the sculpture are set on the armature, and then the armature is what is suspended from the ceiling. So the armature acts as the skeleton that holds the 2 sides together and also acts as the piece that holds it suspended from the ceiling.
We used AutoCAD to detail out the hangers, and we used Rhino to do the final rendering and the final placement of all the lines in a 3-dimensional space. The math was given to us by structural engineer Ann Rothman, who was able to QC everything. As you can see, the entire installation is quite a complicated one. We've been placing the sculptures according to this map religiously. We actually worked closely with the architects, so thank you very much, Ballinger, for all of your amazing contributions to the project.
Their level of passion for the pieces that they were designing and fabricating and installing is just unparalleled. We started off on the process of familiarizing them with the building systems, the space. We shared plans, we shared renderings. We had a mutual respect for their work, and they were certainly very respectful of our work, and in particular the public spaces within the commons of the building.
The idea of seeing it as an aquarium and looking in and seeing the inside was very much about engaging the building to the exterior environment. And when you recognize that you can see it from different vantage points, which you can't always do from a lot of art installation, the notion of seeing it from below, seeing it from the outside, seeing it from multiple levels and seeing through it, seeing around it, I think is also a really intriguing aspect to what was ultimately produced.
So it's truly unique, and each one is as much a product of design as it is art, because they have to serve a functional purpose as well. They have filaments of LEDs that run through them.
So this bacteria here is E. coli. This one's kind of neat because we made it dividing.
Look at these interesting forms, and these are on me and in me, and these are the things that cause a lot of illness. And these are the things that are essential to our normal functioning.
You can hear students as they come in the morning, and there's a couple of new sculptures hung, and you know there's a lot of wows and cool and that kind of thing. And so it's been great just being in the space and seeing how people are reacting to this change in their building that they use every day. It will add to sort of the liveliness of the space that people bring, and just sort of reflect that with colors and shapes and light.
It's great that the school decided to enhance the space with all this great artwork, all these sculptures.
That's nice to think about, that it would be here for generations of students going through like a rigorous course of study on something that's always evolving.
You remember back to when you're in grade school and the first time you look under a microscope at drinking water and you realize, ooh, there's all this stuff in there and I'm never going to drink water again. You know, well, look inside your intestines and see what sort of life is there, and it's all life, and it's just very, very cool.
At night's the best time to see the sculpture, and everyone can drive by and see it lit up at night.
We think it's really great to see it from outside, especially at night. That's the best time to look at it and kind of just gaze up. It's kind of relaxing too to watch it when you're going through an entire day of studying.
Bacteria have these collective behaviors, and they can carry out tasks that they could never accomplish if they simply acted as individuals.
So at this point, you need a partner to help you lift the melamine on top of the mold over there.
I can be your partner, okay?
All right.
This is the invention of multicellularity. Bacteria had been on the Earth for billions of years. Humans, a couple 100,000. So we think bacteria made the rules for how multicellular organization works, and we think by studying bacteria, we're going to be able to have insight about multicellularity in the human body. So we know that the principles and the rules, if we can figure them out in these sort of primitive organisms, the hope is that they will be applied to other human diseases and human behaviors as well.
I hope that it's a timeless piece of sculpture. As people hear and as the world learns things about the potential that these bacteria have to help humanity or to hurt humanity, that new interpretations of the sculpture happen. It will evolve as our knowledge evolves.